Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, I was sitting back there drafting an important email and I've been spending like forever. I started working on that email at like 3:45, so probably like 30 minutes ago or something like that, and I still haven't sent it. And it just hit me. I'm like, am I not supposed, like, what time is it? Oh my God. So sorry, you guys. I completely lost track of time. I have a really important email to send. Oh, geez. Wow. Way overthinking that. So sorry, you guys. Listen, we've got a lot to discuss in today's episode of The Morning Report. So nice to see you guys here. Thank you so much for your patience as well. I really don't know how I got so lost in the sauce there. Anyway, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't want anyone coming in bothering me right now. But it's so nice to see y'all here. We've got two snaps in the Z formation. Listen, boo. I still have not forgotten the way that you played me in yesterday's episode of The Morning Report. She really had me believing that Taylor Swift uses a lip shade called Harlot Red, because I was asking what lipstick shade Taylor Swift uses. I still do not forgive you yet for that. I have not forgotten it. That was absolutely hilarious. So nice to see you here. Good morning to the rest of my co-reporters as well. We've got Gala, Tyrell, Paprika, Stephanie. Stephanie's here with a new photo as well. Steph, I love it. Absolutely beautiful. Your brows look amazing. Good morning, Crazy Dalmatian Lady, Jess, Acacia, BBL, Drizzy. We're going to be talking about him. We've got Linda, Castle Magic, Jenny, Gahara, Venetia, Livy, Becky, Nikki, Linda, Jody, Ashley. Ashley's a symbol. If there's any of you in the bushes or anywhere, come link up. Ashley's, it's time to link up, you guys. Amanda, Amelia, and so much more. We've got Ronnie as well. Shout out to my channel members, by the way. I did shoot another recap of Janelle's like memoir for you guys. So that's going to be going online as well. Listen, I'm telling you, this email has just like, oh my God, you know, j'ai cassé ma tête avec ça. Genre, it's just been like, I've been, you know, going crazy trying to figure out how to respond to this email, but I digress. October cannot come soon enough, you guys. I'm telling you, Lord have mercy. Anyway, you guys, why don't we get into today's show? We have got to talk about sister wife Christine. She had an oxycodone addiction, you guys, and that's something that she opened up about in her memoir. Drake is fessing up to, well, he's actually kind of not really fessing up. He's still lying, allegedly, right, about his whole BBL. He's claiming that these abs are real, but come on. Like, these look like CGI abs. It's all just such a bunch of BS. Janelle's frenemy, Tori, has already moved back to North Carolina as well. She didn't even spend that much time in Vegas with Jenelle before she ultimately decided to go ahead and bounce back. They were like kind of fighting and bickering about it online. Kailyn Lowry gave us a little bit more of a plastic surgery update in the form of a vlog. It was back to school for her eldest son, Isaac, who now goes by Elliot. And that was something that she wanted to share with her peeps. And we, you know, I've got that video for you guys as well. And we've also got to talk about Karen Huger. She was photographed leaving the jail after her very, very lenient sentence, which, by the way, I still think she should have gotten a lot more time, but I digress. So we've got to talk about that and more, okay, in today's episode of The Morning Report. If you find yourself enjoying the show at any given moment, please don't hesitate to go ahead, give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know you enjoy my content. By the way, I don't know why this is showing up here. I'm trying to get rid of it, but I'm so frazzled today. But we will get through this. Are you guys fans of the Sister Wives or anything like that? Because this is like a story. I kind of like put it on the docket. Like, listen, we'll put it as our first story just because I know that my peeps don't really care for these people that much. So like, while we wait for everybody else to also kind of trickle in here, we can kind of get into the story. But Christine, she was the first one to walk away from the sister wives kind of like harem situation. And she found love. She wound up remarrying and everything. And, she's sharing now through her memoir that she suffered from an oxy addiction, which is something that was actually quite surprising to me. Listen, I don't really keep up with the show like that or anything like that, but I'm always surprised to hear that some people are able to hide these sorts of addictions so well, because kind of like the stereotype about oxy and a lot of these very, very, very powerful opiates is that they kind of turn you a little bit into a zombie, right? So to hear that she was able to hide this so well is actually quite impressive. However, this is something that she hid well from the public, right? Because we don't get to actually see too much of these people. We only see these bits and pieces and these kind of like staged or whatever things that we hear about. But her actual family members, I think her daughter is the one that told her, listen, Mom, you need to get help. We missed the person that you were before all of this stuff. You seriously need to get help. And something about it kind of reminded me of Aaliyah from Teen Mom too. So obviously her daughters were too young to come to her and say anything like that. But like, she was another person who kind of managed to hide it for a little bit before it kind of got a little bit too far out of control, right? So let me try and pull up a good photo of Christine and that I can use for you guys. I see some of you are saying that you don't really watch it. You're kind of like mainly into the whole recap situation when people do recaps of the show, which, I totally get. I'm the same way with certain things. Like I kind of like skim my interest in them. Like I'll listen to a podcast or whatever about it, but it's not necessarily something that I personally am going to be tuning in for. And listen, I tried to watch a season of this show, but I just could not wrap my mind around why a bunch of grown women would agree to this kind of like, arrangement. When I heard that these women were having this man's children, right? And they were raising these kids pretty much alone. The man was useless as far as childcare is concerned. And on top of that, they were also like expected to work and like be the breadwinners of their houses, their homes. I was like, so what is the deal? What do you get out of this like harem? Like, I just truly could not wrap my mind around it, right? I kind of feel like we're just like way too different, right? As far as mentality. And I think these ladies did wake up to the fact that it was like, it was BS. This was just like some, misogynistic, like, garbage arrangement that screwed them all over. And this guy is the only one who actually got to win. Their kids all lost out in this as well. Like it was a mess overall, right? So anyway, her memoir is called Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. And she says that she got hooked on oxy after she, quote, blew out her knee, tearing her ACL and meniscus after, and all of that led to her requiring surgery. And so she says that she was given pills after waking up from the surgery, and that was it. They never gave her any kind of instructions about how to use them, right? So pretty much essentially, like it kind of felt as though, if something hurt, I took ibuprofen or aspirin. Real pain indicates that something's wrong. And if I take something that masks the problem, I'm not going to fix the problem. So I generally avoid it, is what she's quoted as saying in the book. With the surgery, I had already fixed the problem and it hurt. So I took my meds. Right. And so she started feeling like she had the flu and just achy and stuff when she would take it. All the symptoms went away, though, when she would take the medication, and it gave her the best high that she ever felt. And she's quoted as saying, I was on top of the world and I felt like I could accomplish everything, right? I'm not taking this for my knee anymore. I'm taking it because I'm achy everywhere. And so that's where things were just, really spiraling out of control. Christine was also taking this medication ahead of shooting those confessionals. So let me put that picture back up, actually. So when you see her doing this sort of like confessional or whatever, she's saying that she used to pop this stuff 2 minutes before hitting this interview so she could feel great on the set, right? Because again, it made her feel invincible. And so whenever she felt like the come down was happening or arriving or whatever, like, that was something that brought her a lot of dread. And so she would just think about like, doing it again and again and again, right? And so the daughter who reached out to her and said she needed to kind of stop was actually Jenelle's daughter, Maddie. And Christine says, and I quote, Maddie came to me and said, you're a mess. I miss you. We all miss you. We all need you back. So whatever you're doing, figure it out. And so that is how she was able to get things back under control eventually and face her addiction head on. I always feel terrible for people with this addiction because, you're always hearing about it starting like, over like a surgery or a medical complication where they really truly did need to take this. And unfortunately, either they were overprescribed or not given proper instructions, or just not given proper warning that things can become like addictive or whatever. And it ends up taking over their lives. And I really, really, really hate to hear that for people. I remember seeing a documentary about this and how it touched Vancouver, Canada in particular. And it was so sad. Like even some people who were doctors themselves, they fell victim to oxy addictions and whatnot, right? Like, being overprescribed, this, that, and the other. And it has been just so, so sad to see continue to play out in the world, right? Hey, we got an Ashley here assembling, and she's going back to the bushes. I love the way you pop out of those bushes to let us know you're here for the Ashley squad. Thanks, Sheekley. When he says it's a real problem, it starts slow with legit medical need, and the dependence takes control faster than people know. Exactly. It is so, so freaking scary. It makes you nervous to even, use these kinds of things when you get sick, right? Or when you need them. Michelle says, I think a few, oh, really? Okay. We got some sister wife watchers over here. So, okay, good. I'm happy that I could share this with you guys. Tamara says a month-long addiction. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, good on her for not letting it kind of snowball into, years of addiction, right? Like with all the kids that she had to go and look after single-handedly because that Cody guy is so damn useless. Just says, I used to watch it, but stop because he is insufferable. Cody's insufferable. How did he convince not one, but like 4 women to marry him? I see quite literally nothing that he brings to the table, right? And I'm so sorry, Tyrell, to hear about your brother struggling with some drug addiction as well. Like it seems, these things can start off so innocently, right? They really, really can. And it's absolutely freaking devastating. Oh, Nikki, what you talking about, Willis? What's happening here with the kids? Oh, you're talking about sister wives. Okay, I understand that too. Yeah, I get it. Tiff says, I believe it happens all the time, especially when people don't have a history. And I guess she's going to say of drug addiction, right? Like it sneaks up on you. So even if you're being prescribed something, make sure, try to take a look and be as careful as possible. I will say, I do find that in the US, they do prescribe you guys really heavy things because, we could be having the same surgeries or the same issues like in Europe or in other parts of the world. And, we're not going to get the same, hardcore stuff that you guys are going to get, which I do find to be rather fascinating, right? Ashley says, pills scare me. I'm genetically predisposed to addiction. Thanks, Mom. So I avoid all pills, just ibuprofen for me. And, you're so smart to take a look at the risk factors, in your family history and to avoid it moving forward. And that's something I love about Leah Messer's storyline in the last season of Teen Mom Next Chapter. It's that she was talking about this with her daughters, right? Like I kind of do in one hand, I'm like, oh, is she scaring them? Are they too young? But, she has kind of like been very cognizant of this and like is letting her kids know that these things can be addictive, right? So I think it's really important to have those kinds of conversations and to not go in kind of like blind for lack of a better word. So Laura says it's super easy to become addicted. I didn't have an issue with the pain. Hang on. This is my agent calling me. I'll tell him. Hang on. Give me 1 second, you guys. Like I told you guys, I sold a condo. Hang on. We'll call back in an hour. And so that's one of the reasons, well, the main reason I'm going back to Canada now. So I'm just trying to get all this stuff worked out. So anyway, Laura says it's super easy to become addicted. I didn't have an issue with the pain meds nearly as bad as I have the benzos, right? It's all very risky. So make sure to inform yourselves, right? Before you start taking, these things, even if you have been prescribed that. Now, you guys, can we get into BBL Drizzy? BBL Drizzy. Hang on. Let me put up that picture of his BBL. He's not going to show you his badonkadonk in this photo, but he's going to show you his etch-a-sketch abs. I have to ask you, if you are watching me live, let me know in the live chat. Are Drake's abs real or are they fake? Just type real or fake. So I have an idea of what you guys think about BBL Drizzy's, abs, okay? Because he did, let me leave it up for a bit, but he did a podcast interview with Bobby. Do you guys remember that Bobby Althoff girl? Well, the two of them sat down and, honestly, good for them, because a lot of people, myself included, thought that there was like some beef between them, and that like, the first time that they did a podcast interview, like it was too flirty and it led to the demise of Bobby's marriage or something like that. It was also a rumor that Drake had Bobby kicked out of a club because she was just doing too much, following him around, being entitled and just like weird in general. So to see them together, kind of squashing that like beef or rumors or whatever, while also addressing another rumor, which is that Drake got his body done, right? Anyway, let me go take a look at the live chat. By the way, if you're part of my playback posse, you could let us know in the comment section, okay? Oh, Keisha is coming for me. She said, that's your people, Grace. Thank you. Well, damn. Okay. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I do have to claim Aubrey. And I'm taking a look. Hang on. Let me go from the very beginning, okay, you guys? Ashley's claiming him. Speaking of claiming, hang on, where did Ashley's comment go? She says that she is claiming him. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, let me try and find you guys' comments. Okay, so here we are from the beginning. Ashley says not too much on her man now, you guys. Okay, she's claiming Drake. Listen, I guess that means I don't have to claim him then. Thank you, Ashley, taking him off my hands. Hey, fake, not fake, Faye, nice to see you, boo. So it seems that all of you guys pretty much unanimously believe that Drake's abs are indeed fake. Let me put them up again, okay? Because they truly they look like CGI, okay? Like they look like plastic, they look etched on and whatnot. Like they just do not look natural. And I don't think that they match the rest of his body. This photo is not the best example because there's so many distractions and you don't really properly see, but he doesn't have any definition, right? Like, yes, his pecs are okay. They're pretty well developed, but like the arms, the shoulders and everything, like, even just the abs in general, they look freaking weird. You know what it looks like? When you pick up a turtle, maybe it's trying to cross the street and it's crossing too slowly. And if you were to pick it up, that's what the underside of it would look like. Like, that's what this looks like. It looks weird, okay? Maybe even just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the commercial, not the commercial, the cartoon or whatever, right? And I don't understand why he felt like he had to go ahead and do this. I think Drake could have Steph, she wants to see that booty, y'all, that wagon. I think that he could have had this, this kind of like effect just by going to the gym. For men, it's so much easier than it is for women to have a low enough body fat percentage on your stomach that abs show. So why is it that he didn't, just go down that route? He's rich. He can have a personal chef cook for him. Listen, you guys, I'll tell you, I had abs one time in my life. And you know how I got these abs? And it didn't even take long. It took like 2.5 weeks by going keto. I went on this crash thing. I went keto. You shouldn't do it, right? I went keto and something else, and it took me 2 weeks, and I had like a 4-pack of abs. I was lean as hell, right? Like just didn't going even just sugar-free, right? I think that's a lot healthier, right? Going sugar-free, you could really get a low enough body fat percentage while also going to the gym and whatnot. Like you can have that kind of a body. So for BBL Drizzy to be out here getting these sorts of things when he has the money, the chef, the everything, he can have a personal trainer 24/7. Like that is absolutely crazy to me, right? But I digress. And listen, so many rappers, not just Kendrick Lamar, but so many rappers have called him out. Like everybody in the industry knows that this is fake. And it's just so Drake, right? It is just so freaking Drake. To be doing that sort of thing. Like there's just something so off about this man in general. And yeah, Tiff, like, look, these two are very, very comfortable with each other. I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, so a little something happened at a certain point between the two of them. So anyway, he did this interview with Bobby and she asked him if he, got like Etch-a-Sketch abs, and Drake claimed that he didn't. And Bobby is like, oh, is that a thing? And Drake is like, yeah, I'm sure it is. I've kind of like heard of people getting that done. Shut up, Drake. You're people. You've seen yourself getting it done. You remember the faja you were wearing. You remember the massage sessions. Like, shut up. Oh my God. Right. And so Drake says, I don't know if my wagon looked crazy. Hang on. So Bobby's like, yeah, people think it's not just the abs, that it's like a BBL, right? Remember there was that viral song last summer, BBL Drizzy. I still love that song. By the way, Drake, as litigious as he is, he kind of like sued or something like that to get it taken off and everything. Like, and it was such a good song, honestly. He's such a prick. I'm sorry, but he's such a prick. Anyway, he's like, I don't know if my wagon looked crazy when I walked in here. Did it? Like, And so she says, you got a BBL and you got your abs sculpted. And he says that, no, like, I just have a fatty. It's just like that sort of a thing. So there you go, you guys. And so when it comes to this photograph, the famous photograph that had everybody wondering this, he says that, you know, he had just come from the gym. He was sweaty. Maybe I went on Facetune. Maybe I heightened the saturation or something on it. You know, so there you go. He says that this was just like a fluke day because he was playing around with photo editing. And, you know, Drake being on Facetune is just so freaking Drake, isn't it? Like, this guy, the jokes write themselves when it comes to him. I'm sorry, Drake, but, or should I say Drake Keisha, but like, come on now, you know, come on. Anyway, I can't, like, it looks very plastic. And if it's not like a BBL, it could also potentially be like steroid use. So do you guys remember Zac Efron when he was filming for that one film where he had to be really stocky? I think he started using steroids for that. And when these men, you see it in wrestlers too, when they start using steroids, their skin starts taking on this like weird plasticky sort of a look to it, right? So stay woke, y'all. He's denying it, right? He's denying it, but I very much believe that he had something done. And I still think it's very, very strange that he even in the first place would be playing around on Facetune, editing his body. Oh, speaking of editing, can I tell you guys something? And it's kind of messy to be saying this, but you know, it actually really made me uncomfortable. There was this girl. So I have a TikTok, right? There's this girl, she followed me on TikTok and so I looked at her page and it seemed like a nice enough page and whatnot, right? Like she's like this kind of like influencer on like body positivity. And, you know, at the time, like she was at like a heavier weight and whatnot. Then all of a sudden she got really thin. And then I saw a video of hers the other day, you guys. And you know, it was so strange. She was doing this try on haul and she had, you know, a lot of people these days, like influencers, especially and celebrities, when they're shooting these like videos, they could put these thin filters on. And every now and again, these filters will glitch and you'll see like, you know, wait a minute, that's not natural. Like what happened, right? And so I was just watching the video, not thinking anything of it. And her thing glitched. And I'm like, your whole platform is built on like, oh, like it doesn't matter what size you are, this, that, or the other, like love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. It just creeped me out, you guys. So be very careful, you know, be very, very careful about the types of like messages you're receiving from people, because some people they're playing in your face. You know, I was like, listen, I don't need this kind of messaging. I don't really, you know, thank God, right? Like, I don't really think about my body like that. You know what I mean? All that often. So, but like for other people who look to this person as like kind of like a savior, like, yeah, she's so happy in her body and she looks like me, blah, blah. Meanwhile, skinny filters are being used. Like, honestly, that made me really sad for her audience, to be honest with you. And it's a young girl too. I was like, oh girl, like really, like, damn, that is so freaking sad, but I digress. Anyway, why don't we get into the Jenelle a bit? We got to talk about Jenelle. Oh God. And y'all know exactly how much I like talking about Jenelle. Not that much, just saying. And I'm telling you, Tiff, it's a grift half the time, right? And it's very sad because I think that these are like mental health things, right? Like body dysmorphia and whatnot. Like it's very, very sad to be playing with people like this. And yes, Zoe, I love Degrassi. I'm going to be watching it. Will you be tuning in as well? I'm really looking forward to seeing that Degrassi documentary. I love Degrassi so much. Like that was really, really, truly my show. And then I don't know how to use these like video filters too, but like a lot of people use these things. You gotta be careful. Even the Kardashians, I believe, that use them. Exactly, Castle Matt. By the way, did you cast that spell yesterday? We got to talk about Dead B. Evans over here. Listen, she is still whining about her hospital stint. Listen, she went to the hospital to go bother people, to take some heat off of herself after her alleged son, Jace Evans, exposed her for some of her abusive messages towards him. Remember, she was cursing him out. She was saying F you to this poor innocent child and just, you know, just pretty much like forcing him out of the house, essentially, right? And so obviously that led to jump scare, a lot of hate online for Jenelle. And she decided that she wanted to become the victim in the situation. So she had to go back to her old tricks again, which is going to the hospital and just, you know, trying to convince herself and the doctors that she has some sort of a very, very serious debilitating illness, right? And so she fell out with Tori over this. And let me find that post that she made. Here it is. So this is the initial post that she made on her Facebook page. Just know if we're friends and you're in the hospital, I would bring you underwear if you begged me. Actually, you wouldn't even have to beg me. I'd be there in a heartbeat, even if we haven't spoken in years. Do I get the same treatment? Nah, definitely not from my best friend. I'm still in shock about it. Couldn't even get off my bed. Hashtag just a thought. Hashtag rant over. Here's the problem. I believe that Tori was looking after the kids in the house while Jenelle was bothering the hospital staff. And here's another thing. Tori can't just go and bring you unsoiled underwear because Tori can't drive. Tori has a suspended license. Yeah, sure, she could have gotten an Uber or whatever, but does Tori have money? And this is a serious question. I'm not being snooty. Does Tori have money? Like, what does she do for work? I know she's trying to get her OnlyFans account on and popping, but is it popping? Like, I don't think that she's making money yet to be able to be running around town to help feed Jenelle's delusions, right? And so somebody in the comments section said, hey, Jenelle, you got to stop this on and off again friendship with Tori, right? Like, some people are in your life for just a season, move on, right? Like, come on. And so Jenelle responds, I know you guys, crying emoji, right? But like, this is a very rinse and repeat situation with these two. Like, listen, Tori's going to be back in Jenelle's life. Maybe she won't move back to Vegas, but like, she'll be back in Jenelle's life sooner or later, right? And so things got actually kind of crazy, right? Because, and by the way, I still do not understand why Jenelle only had like one pair of underwear with her at the hospital. Like, like she planned that thing. She wasn't rushed there by, ambulance. She knew she wanted to stay as long as possible. You pack multiple underwear, girl. Listen, any lady going anywhere, on a trip, and for her, this was a trip, would pack multiple panties. Just saying. So now she's been talking about Nanny 911. So I guess she wants to maybe start potentially raising the children that she has at the house at some point. So she's been watching Nanny 911 to try to figure out how to potentially do that, right? And so someone in the comment section was so funny. She's like, step one, you've got to actually take care of the children you popped out, not hand them off to everyone around you and then just ignore them once they're old enough to use a microwave. To which Jenelle responds, I have custody of all my kids, so your comment is irrelevant. Listen, having custody of your children and taking care of your children are two completely different things. Like, you're not denying the fact that you hand them off. You're not denying, the fact that you don't take care of them or anything like that. You're just, saying that you have custody of them, which, listen, a lot of deadbeats have custody of their children. It doesn't really mean anything. So when it comes to her beef with Tori, shout out to the Ashley for getting these screenshots before they were deleted. But there was a moment that was so hilarious. Because again, Jenelle keeps on complaining about like the whole underwear thing, right? And Tori is like, babe, you have bronchitis. Why are you pissing the bed? So this is the exact exchange. Tori had posted something on her Facebook and Jenelle says, yeah, I can't even drive to bring me underwear. And then someone says, you want her to illegally drive your car uninsured and no license? To which Jenelle responds, she couldn't take an Uber to drop me off underwear after peeing in the hospital bed. I don't want to hear it. And so, I just don't understand why Jenelle decided to go and announce this like so publicly that she pissed her hospital bed. Like, this is so embarrassing, right? And so Victoria says, you had bronchitis. Why are you pissing the bed? I'm sorry, y'all, but I found that to be absolutely freaking Jenelle, just go home. You're not in the hospital for anything. Just go home. Like, you can leave because you're not supposed to be there. Like, what are you doing? Like, she's just so crazy to me and she just doesn't see it. I feel like everybody knows and sees it but her, and it's insane. And we've been telling her for years, the whole internet has been telling her for years, like, girl, like, come on, step up. And she thinks everybody is wrong. It's absolutely insane. My God. When he says, so she was wearing nasty panties until she peed herself, it kind of seems like it, right? Jenelle, girl, you should have packed an overnight bag. You've been doing this for years. You know the drill, boo. You know the drill. Laura says Tori has done so much ish for Jenelle while Jenelle hasn't done jack ish for Tori in the same way. Period. Right? Come on. And I do think that Tori moved to Vegas to help kind of boost her OnlyFans career as well. However, there was a benefit to Jenelle. People like that type of content. And on top of that, there was the childcare aspect as well. Actually, maybe Tori wasn't the best childcare because she was out there partying with Jenelle too. I don't know who's taking care of these children. Jenelle says somebody from care.com, but I don't know. Jasmine says, you're warning us about the jump scare Jenelle photo. Here's the photo itself. Listen, this is my public service announcement. People says, Jenelle is such a strange girl. She really is. Like, she just does not see what we all see, right? And it's just absolutely astounding, truly. Castle Magic says she has a suspended driver's license. So messy. Yup. DUIs. You got to thank DUIs for that. And is she making the money on OnlyFans? Like, I don't think Tori has the money to be, wandering around back and forth, chauffeuring goods to and from Jenelle's hospital room, especially because Jenelle does not need to be in the hospital. Janelle can get up and go home anytime, right? Like I don't like, the whole thing is just absolutely insane. Janelle said she's getting divorced. She wants, she wants to party, right? She already had her divorce party, pre-divorce and everything. And now she's still in her partying mode. T-Root says Jenelle could have Uber. Exactly. She could have DoorDash, Uber them, whatever. She can afford to do that. Like, she just wants for people to kind of like fawn over her and baby her. And this is something we talk about in today's thing that I filmed earlier, actually. It was her memoir, and just, oh my God, like, she was writing it in her rehab diary. So this, like, the part we're on with my members is when she and Kiefer were together. And then remember when they broke into that house, like somebody had let them stay at a house and then they overstayed their welcome. The police were called. They told them, get out of here. You're no longer welcome. And then a couple of days later, they break in and then they get arrested. That one, right? See, Laura has, listen. It's what you do when you're leaving, right? Like, come on, right? Absolutely crazy that she would go, on her own and just not bring anything, right? And, panty liners are another option as well. Steph says, I know someone just like Jenelle. Oh my God, the worst. I can't imagine. I hope you keep this person at like 2 arms length, because the amount of exhaustion that would come with having this person in your circle is just too much for me anyway, personally. And I imagine it's the same for you, Steph. Mocha Madness says Jenelle is on vacation at the hospital. She needed a break from her. Exactly. That's what it is. She doesn't want to do this, man. I don't know why she kept on having these kids. She doesn't want to be a parent. And that's the thing. If you don't want to be a parent, good for you. You don't have to be one, right? But don't have kids. Once you have them kids, you got to be a parent. You got to be a parent to them, right? The hospital stay. Exactly. Y'all seem to be on the same page about that, right? Hey, Jaleesa. And we saw somebody earlier, and Kailyn as well. And we saw somebody earlier who said, hey, from Vegas. Shout out to my Vegas girly as well. So nice to see you. Oh, Jenelle, what a tangled web we weave, right? And Tori is done with her. But again, I do think that this friendship is going to be back on eventually. These two cannot stay away from each other for long enough. Jenelle has a hard time making friends, right? Like, you don't really hear of her like having like much of a friend circle. I think her only friend is Tori. So she really does need this friendship. And then for Tori, she needs her friendship with Jenelle for publicity, for financial incentive and whatnot. So can I ask you guys, how long until these two hang out again? I really want everybody's estimates. So I personally, I'm going to give it anywhere from 3 to 7 months before the two of them are back on as friends. Y'all let me know what you think. And I agree, Winnie. Right? Like, it gets older. People are settled in their lives. Like, they've got their spouses, they've got their kids typically and whatnot. And like, and they're, and you just have less of a desire to go out in general. Right? I was actually talking about this with my friends, like even like as far as like birthdays are concerned, like we still love celebrating our birthdays and these parties and this and that. But these days it's getting smaller and smaller. Not that we have less friends. It's just the desire to have these big parties and stuff has just kind of like diminished, like, all but gone away at this point. Good morning, Farah. C says she probably wanted Tori to bring her. Oh, can you imagine having someone bring you rugs to a hospital? How crazy you'd have to be. But there are people who actually even try to smuggle it into damn jail, right? So let me see what you guys are guessing as far as how long before these two rekindle their friendship for the millionth time. Hey, Social Wallflower, nice to see you, boo. Winnie the Cat gives it a month. I love your lipstick, by the way. I love a good vampy lip. Laura gives it 36 months. So you're in about the same bracket as me. Shelby says whenever Tori's single again. Oh, that too. Sometimes it's just the whole like, oh, you got a man. I don't. Whoa. I almost did campfires. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, good luck to these two. I just know they'll be back together. Just give it some time, you guys. Caroline is giving it 2 months. Ronnie's giving it a couple of months as well. Nobody thinks this is going to be permanent. You guys, why don't we get into, and you know what, Bree, no, I haven't. However, in the V side of things, I was actually about to get into Kale's vlog. She did some kind of a vlog. So you get to see a little bit more of the update about, what her face looks like post surgery. And then you get to see her talk about Elliot going back to school. So take a look at this and let me know what you think in the comment section.
It's 6:54 a.m. and it's Elliot's first day of 10th grade. I officially have a sophomore. I feel like I'm having a harder time waking up in the morning than my own teenager.
Hurry up. You taking forever.
What do you mean? This is actually my first day of 10th grade. All right, here we go.
I hope everyone knows that high school is literally the death of me. And as much as I love it, like, I don't want to go to school today. Like, why today? Like, we couldn't wait, like, another, week or two. But you know what? It's going to be fine.
Okay, Elliot just left for his first day of sophomore year. I just think about all the things that I was doing when I was in 10th grade, which is, like, smoking, doing sex. Elliot's a way better person than me. So, 10th grade, I know senior year is going to be here before we know it, but I hope that this year he can slow down a little bit. I hope he loves this year. He makes new friends, strengthens the bonds with the kids that he's already friends with. I don't know. I have a good feeling about 10th grade. Elliot just got to school. I'm waiting for the not a phlebotomist. I just did my blood work for life insurance. This is my second policy because obviously more children. Before I get ready for court, I'm going to do a little reset right here because we did not clean up last night after we ate dinner. No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting on court with just like this with my face swollen.
Ernest is on the parties.
I did that.
Oh, you know what? Let me keep going.
I did a blonde. I did a blonde.
Whoa!
You want some?
So there you go. A little bit of an update. You get to see some of it. Listen, I think the thing snatched her jawline relatively well. So good for her. Hopefully she's able to maintain it and be happy with, her body, her face, or, whatever at this point, right? Like I said, sometimes this stuff can become an addiction. Sometimes it's a whack-a-mole situation where you fix one thing and then the change in size or whatever of this one thing brings out or maybe throws off the balance of something else. So I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of sometimes I picture it like a Picasso, when you see the Picasso in the face, that's what it feels like, maybe if I move this or if I do this, maybe zoom out, something like that, right? So good luck to her. Stay positive, stay focused, and hopefully she'll be happy with this latest iteration because she did have lipo previously, right? This is not the first time she did something with her neck chin area. So Bree had mentioned V's podcast and Livy as well. So Livy's saying, been enjoying watching V's revamp YouTube, and I think she might be doing a podcast too. I hope she does really well and shoves it to Kail. Well, listen, we did talk about V's Chisme Corner podcast in one of my morning reports prior to my break last week. And so she had been she did this makeup get ready with me, and in it, what was she talking about? Oh, she was talking about friendships and how she's learned to stand up for herself and close the door on people who are just not, really being good friends to her. And I think that she was talking about Alessandra. So she and Alessandra were besties and stuff. So listen, I hope more of that comes out in Chisme Corner. So Brie, Chisme Corner, you're saying is out now. Did you get to listen to the first episode? Did she drop any kind of tea and gems that we should know about? Please let us know. Laura said she had her first baby in the 10th grade. Honestly, you were so incredible to have been able to do that at such a young age. Oh my God. How did you go through that experience? I cannot even imagine. I hope your family was really, really supportive, and able to help you through that journey. Acacia says, here she goes talking. Yep. One thing about Kail is she is so excited for the Grim Reaper to come for her. And I find it so sad, but you know what? I do think it's smart to have life insurance, especially when you've got kids, especially when you got 7 kids to be, feeding and whatnot. So good on her for that. At the very least, Shelby's asking what court's for. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if it were a baby daddy situation. She and Chris are always beefing. So maybe, somebody kind of beefed a little bit too close to the sun, and she decided to go pull the trigger and get legal on this person. I'm not sure. However, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. I'm trying to find the rest of you guys' comments because y'all left a lot about that vlog. So let me see. Winnie the Cat says it's smart, and I agree. Lynn says, I find it strange that the school year starts in the middle of the year. In Australia, we start in February and go to December. And that's really fascinating. You start in February and go through December. So it's like a winter to winter situation. That's really fascinating, actually, the way that you guys' school year is set up differently. I kind of feel like I'm thinking about like my schooling in Canada, like starting in February would be so depressing for us because we're not sunny like you guys in Australia. February is hell on earth. It is dark. It is dreary. It is freezing cold. That's when we start touching the -30s to the potentially -40 range. So the idea of starting school in those like circumstances, oh, I shudder. I always tell people here, I don't know, shout out to my Canadians. Y'all know, listen, I love Canada and I rep Canada, but I don't know how I survived so long in Canada. I am not a winter girly. I'm truly not. Lauren says that it gets addictive. I wish I could get plastics every time I want to change, especially with how normalized it is these days. A lot of people feel that way, right? Shelby says Javi's been quiet. Listen, he's got a pregnant fiance to take care of, and he's got some urges to keep at bay, So, maybe that's why he's being quiet for now. Or maybe she's hinting that, this is the court stuff that Kale has been talking about. Steph says she didn't need to say anything about the life insurance, you big dummy, all these randoms you'll let around you. Ooh, that's kind of scary because how many times when you watch Date Lifeline or whatever to hear about people getting with people, I feel like you're being sarcastic, getting with people and then deleting them for the life insurance. People are effed up. Be careful, putting out that kind of information. And she's talked about how it's millions on her head and whatnot. You know what I mean? So be very, very, very careful about that kind of information. Smart to get life insurance, but be careful. Lisa says, this is sweet, but I hate when she says Elliot. Listen, before I say anything, are any of you guys named Elliot? Do you have kids named Elliot? You know what I think it is? It's the fact that we're not used to that name on him. Maybe that's it, right? I don't know. It's so different. Like, it's still so new, right? I don't know. Farrah, you actually live in Hawaii? We start in August and end in May. Ooh, I would have loved to go to school in Hawaii. Just sun, beauty, maybe some rain, but nothing like us in Canada. When she says, oh, the thought of winter in Canada makes me wonder why you're leaving. Oh, I know. Don't worry. I'm only going for 1 week, though. I cannot experience another Canadian winter in my life. Absolutely not. Lisa says, I had a dream, like V was Kale pregnant and called into your morning show to confirm it. I'm crazy. I fear. Oh, that would have been absolutely hilarious. Can you imagine someone calling just to announce that? Absolutely hilarious. What a dream. What a dream. Lynn says her nephew's name is Elliot. I think maybe it's just the fact that we're not used to Isaac going by Elliot, and again, Isaac is a perfectly nice name. I actually really, really like the name. So it's kind of like, oh, like, why'd you go and throw this nice name away? But anyway, listen, different strokes for different folks. Why don't we get into the ground down? This is can I still use the sound effect when I talk about her? Or is it too much? You guys let me know in the chat. Listen, is it once a convict, always a convict, or no? Because she's been released from jail, right? You guys, we talked about this. It happened yesterday while we were shooting yesterday's morning report. And now we have the first official photo of the Grand Dame fresh out of the slammer. Clinkety clink, right? And so here she is to the left, waving to her fans. She looks completely different, doesn't she? Like, if you didn't tell me this was Karen, I wouldn't know. Honestly, I do not recognize this face at all. I think she's got some sort of a bandana over her head. Maybe she didn't want her hair to be captured in that current state. I have a video that I want to show you guys from a news report that was done on the scene about Karen leaving jail as well. And she actually had her makeup artist. You guys probably know her. If you're into like the YouTube beauty guru era, do you remember, and Instagram too, do you remember Beat Face Honey? That is Karen Huger's makeup artist. And she actually had her on deck for her hair and makeup. And guess what? Bravo was filming. So I'm not surprised that she did that. Although I think it would have been better to go makeup free if you want maximum, I did this, I'm a changed person, because when you come out in full glam, it's like, oh, you're still the same kind of fake, like vain person you always were, right? So I'm going to show you guys the video. And then on the flip side, we're going to talk about the terms and conditions of Karen's release. Okay. So take a look at this video right here, you guys.
Karen! Hi, Karen! This is what happens when a Real Housewives of Potomac star leaves jail.
She's the grand dame of Potomac. I mean, there's no one like her.
What brought you out here today?
I'm a huge Housewives of Potomac fan, huge Karen fan. I was at her sentencing in February with some other fans, and I thought I would just come out and just hopefully get a glimpse of her on her release day. So I'm not an official reporter, but I do report on Reddit. And so I've just been posting pictures and updates on Reddit as we've been here today. I'm an accountant, and my boss is a big Bravo fan too, and so I was like, I'm taking 4 hours. She was like, go have fun, send me photos.
Hello, how's Karen feeling?
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
Feeling good. She happy to be getting out? Yeah.
To see my husband.
Your husband.
They say there was a lot of chaos going on, so they stopped us at the point where we couldn't walk down, and then we found out like later on that Karen from Potomac Housewives of Potomac was getting released, and I've been standing out here waiting ever since. So she held up my visit. She owed me. Karen would do better if she did things on purpose for a good cause. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I don't wish bad for nobody. I just hope she don't come back.
Karen Jefferson Huger, because she is Thomas Jefferson's concubine. That cracks me up every damn time. There you guys go. Karen is officially out, and like Steph said, that lady, she said, oh, there's a celebrity here. Forget my husband. I'll go check him out a little bit later. Honestly, I'm glad that the Real Housewives of Potomac cameras were there to capture all of this. I am looking forward to seeing this play out. I know that the girls are currently filming, and so, the timing is absolutely perfect for the show. I did promise you guys earlier that I would give you some more information about the terms of Karen's release. So here goes. Karen is not able to drive for a year, okay? And she's also under 5 years of supervised probation. And when she is able to finally get behind a wheel again after her year is up, she will have to use a breathalyzer to unlock her car. Listen, no shame to people who have to use these breathalyzers, but I remember seeing this for the first time. It was the last time I was in Canada last year. I was at the grocery store and I was sitting in the car, just minding my own business. I think, sometimes I just like to sit in the car, okay? Sue me, right? I had to sit in the car. So maybe I had already done my grocery shopping, or I was about to do it later. I don't know. But I was just sitting in the car in the parking lot. And this lady pulls up next to me in her car, and there's a car seat behind her. And she goes to the store, and I don't think anything of it. And then she comes back. She puts her stuff in. She looks left and right. And then she starts blowing in this breath. I was like, whoa. So that's what wow, like I never thought, and it was just like this nice quiet suburb. I was like, okay, girl, okay, you pay your dues to society then. Damn. Listen, I'm happy that Karen finally had to face some very legitimate consequences for her actions. There is no excuse for 4 DUIs. Truly no excuse. And again, I will tell you guys, I do think that she should have served at least that full year. I think even that full year was light, given, her reckless disregard for the safety and welfare of her fellow citizens, in the DMV area. She says Karen needs to put an Uber. Yeah, maybe that's what she should be sentenced to, an Uber app. I think she tried to throw out the gift cards that Ashley gave to her, but hopefully she fishes them out of the trash or something, because she needs it. A whole year, she's not able to drive. And I love the way that that they put that like last season on the show. Remember, like they were like, oh, Karen chauffeur, right? Like they really emphasized the fact that she couldn't drive herself. And it's like, yeah, go on. East Austin says, okay, how is she only banned from driving for 1 year? That feels short, right? That's what I think too. I think she's going to be okay with the probation. Like, I don't know if she's not able to like drink under probation or anything like that. Maybe. I think more details are yet to come. She will probably save some for the show. But yeah, like honestly, and here's the thing though, a year without being able to drive sounds really difficult in that kind of an area, right? Where there's no, listen, even if she had good public transport, do you think someone like Karen would get on it? No, not really. It's going to be an expensive year for her getting chauffeured around. Do you think she still has Blue Eyes as her chauffeur? Ronnie says, I do not think she served enough time. I do not think she learned her lesson. And I just hope if she does it again, I pray she doesn't hurt someone. And I completely agree. Listen, I can't even say it in present tense anymore. Y'all know I used to love and stand for the Grande Dame, but honestly, 4 DUIs is so disrespectful that I can't even say that anymore about her. But I don't hate her. It's just, I think she deserved more time, personally. Ali says, I have a breathalyzer on my keychain for giggles. I would hate to have to start a car using it. Please fill us in on how you got a breathalyzer for giggles. That is absolutely hilarious. Listen, Blue Eyes is about to be paid. He's going to have some good Christmas bonuses and some Christmas gifts for his family this year, driving Karen around. Kailyn says, you can hide drinking on probation. Sadly, probation isn't for alcoholics. Too easy to play pretend. I heard some people purchase pee on Craigslist or something like that, right? Steph says she's about to go find Blue Eyes. That's what I think too. Come on, Blue Eyes. Get ready, boo. Get ready. And listen, so maybe she might be banging Blue Eyes. I think Ray is okay with it. Listen, with these relationships, with these huge age gaps, and then sometimes there's like these problems of like, I don't know, getting your mechanics to work or not having libido or anymore. Like maybe there are these kinds of dynamics that like they don't want to be open about, especially when they've got children and everything and their daughters in the public eye. But whatever she's got going on with Blue Eyes, I think that Ray knows about it and is okay with that. By the way, speaking of Blue Eyes, there were some people who were talking about, and I think maybe Kempire was one of them, and maybe Layla Lynn as well in some of their reporting about the show, or sorry, the DUI situation. But like, it was mentioned that somebody else was in the car with Karen, and a lot of people suspected that was Blue Eyes and that like he ran away or something like that. Do you guys remember that, T? Like, I haven't forgotten that. I'm still curious about who else was in the car. Karen, when she was slurring, right, before she got taken back and talked about being the concubine, she was talking about somebody else being in the car, right? And then of course, like we didn't see anybody else in the car afterwards, right? So, you know, the 5 years of supervised visitation, by the way, can potentially be cut down to 3. She can eventually be cut down to 3 years of supervised visitation, or 2. Anyway, listen, math is not my forte, okay? Because they said if she is well behaved on her supervised visitation, after 3 years, she will be eligible for unsupervised. So I guess the remaining 2 years would be unsupervised. There you go. Anyway, listen, Karen, I hope you learned your lesson. I hope you learned your lesson. Am I going? No, Kailyn, I'm not going. You know what I'm going to do today? Actually, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to be eating at my first Jamaican restaurant in Paris. There's a Jamaican restaurant in the 11th arrondissement. And y'all, listen, I talk about this all the time. Sorry to my Italian food lovers. Hey, Kelly, yes, we're live, boo. Sorry to my Italian food lovers, but I find it to be the most overrated cuisine in the world. When I go to Italy, I starve. I'm sorry, I don't really care for it. For me, the best cuisine is Jamaican. I love Jamaican food. So I've been like looking left and right for a Jamaican restaurant, and we've actually got 2 new ones that just opened up. So I'm going to the one in the 11th arrondissement with some of my friends, and I'm really looking forward to it actually. So I'll let y'all know how that goes tomorrow, actually, okay? By the way, I was supposed to do some other restaurant with my friend Kenny. Do y'all remember? I was telling you guys I was supposed to do some street food. It was like, I forgot what country it was, but like we didn't end up doing that. We did some random like brasserie, just some basic thing, because his boyfriend's cat got sick. And so he wasn't really in the mood to like really do something elaborate, which I understand. So we just, had a quick little cappuccino together before he went home to check on the cat, and the cat is doing well now. Okay, you guys, we are on to our final story of the day. You know what I'm going to do? We got a word from some of our sponsors. By the way, did any of you guys sign up for Philo? You can get a free account to watch, because yesterday we were recapping Chrisley's Knows Best and all that stuff, right? So you can watch those things for free using Philo. They'll give you a month free account. So I have a link in the description box. So just as an FYI, you guys, and them and, my other sponsor, they got a word for you. And I got to figure out what's going on with my nose. Give me a second.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today.
All right, and we're back. Listen, I'm going to catch up on you guys' comments before we get into our final stories. For our final story, I don't know if I publicized it, but it was going to be about Kristen Doute getting in between Golnessa from Shaws of Sunset, body shaming Brittany Cartwright from Vanderpump Rules. The whole thing is actually a really messy story, and I'm disappointed in Golnessa. Honestly, Golnessa has a really ugly spirit. She really does. Like, I just never liked her, and I'm kind of like upset that they're bringing her back into the TV world, because she's as toxic as Mike. Truth be told, she's a very, very toxic woman. And, I hate that she's getting the spotlight again. Steph, I have tried Haitian food. You know what? I've actually even made Haitian food. I made Haitian griot before. That was back in about 2016. It's pretty good as well. Kelly is a Jamaican food fan. Love, love, love that. It is so good. If you haven't tried Jamaican food yet, go eat some Jamaican food. It is so good. I love them. I love Greek food. I love African food, of course. And I also love Spanish food as well. Araceli, yes, we did already do the Jenelle and Tori story. What story number was that for us today? That was story number 3. So it was probably around the 20-ish minute mark. Okay. Kailyn says, what's your most missed food? Poutine and a good shawarma, because I don't think shawarma is here or is good there. And I don't eat Chinese food in Paris. I don't think it's good, in my opinion. But I love Chinese food back in Ottawa. It's not something I eat all that often though, but like, when I want like chicken balls with like that pink sauce or like crispy beef, like, yeah, that's something you get in Canada. I've never really seen that here in Paris. And I did hear, Kelly, that it was hot over there. I'm jealous because here I'm wearing a trench coat already. Womp, womp, womp. And yeah, I'm so happy to see some Jamaican food lovers over here. Love, love, love that. And you're gonna like laugh, Tiff, but I've never tried oxtail. I'm so scared to try it. I'm always a jerk chicken, curry goat, tabba girl, and rice and peas, of course. I really, really love. Lamb Block Lover says, I'm Jamaican. Our food is amazing. I'm also Italian and it's tasty, but generally, yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, I find Italian food to be very bland and just very carb heavy. I don't love carbs. Anyway. Let's get into our final story, shall we? So it was Golnessa who decided out of nowhere to body shame Brittany, and I truly do not understand why she would do that. There was a photo of Brittany Cartwright and her new boyfriend. Hang on, let me pull up that picture, actually. I thought I had it, but Golnessa, hang on. And they were at the beach, and it was a normal photo of the two of them. Like, the guy was behind her. He was hugging her from behind. Brittany looked normal too, yet for some reason, Golnessa decided to go on the internet and pretend to be concerned, right? She's like, oh, is she pregnant? Like, she obviously looks pregnant, which is not a nice thing to say, right? Like, it's not. Hang on, let me pull this up. Listen, sometimes these people, they obviously look, for example, let me tell you something. That Cardi B's thing going on, like when someone obviously has a round baby bump and you're like, okay, this person's obviously knocked up. Or when Kale was hiding these pregnancies, but it was obvious as hell. It was a pregnant belly, right? In some cases, somebody just has a belly. And I think that in this case with Brittany, she just has a belly, which is perfectly fine. Golnessa knew that though. And she decided to just go and put this out there. And it was just a really ugly thing of her to do. Does this look like a pregnant belly to anybody? No, it just looks like a regular woman's belly, right? And so Golnessa decided to just go and leave a really nasty comment about it. And Kristen got her together. By the way, this is page 6's photo that I'm pulling up to show you guys, okay? So let me go ahead and pull up Kristen dragging Golnessa in the DMs. Listen, I don't like Kristen at all. I really don't. I think she's a terrible person, actually. But she does ride hard for her friends, and I do think that that is a great quality to have. So in the DMs, you see Kristen say, "Why would you comment on a photo of Brittany speculating pregnancy? As a woman and as a mother, effing disgusting," right? And so Golnessa says, "Bro, you keep trying to come for me, haha. And I hate to say this to you, but I'm not the one. There's an image of that man holding her stomach. Isn't that what couples do when they announce they're potentially expecting? Especially when the woman's stomach clearly looks pregnant? No, a man can hug you from behind because he want to hug you from behind, you know?" And she did not look like she was clearly expecting at all, right? As a woman and as a mother, quote, "It seems clear when there's pregnancy announcement, but I guess," and hang on, let me pull up the other part of this exchange, you guys. Golnessa is looking for attention, and she's a toxic person. She's got a lot of demons. You see it in her face, and just like they ooze from her pores. Like she's a very, very angry, vile person. Anyway, let's see. I thought there was a pregnancy announcement, but I guess I was wrong. She's not in my life for me to know what her body normally looks like, to know that she's not pregnant in an image her man is holding her belly. I was clearly wrong. Now, with that being said, you and I are going to have major issues. Let me just make that clear. Girl, you were like 4'2". Shut up. 30 pounds. Don't ever call me names. I have yet to call you out of your name, but there's a long list of words I can share about you, since it seems like that's the game you want to play with me. Try to accept God into your life. I can admit to making a mistake about that girl and be apologetic, but that's now a separate matter. Now it's you and me, so buckle up, buck teeth. Like, come on now. What, all of this over a picture of a girl you don't even know, Golnessa? Like, don't you have your kid to be feeding? Like, what is this? She's so weird. I'm sorry, but Golnessa is such a weirdo. She's always looking for like a fight. You know who she reminds me of? Like with this, like, talks a big game. Meanwhile, nobody's scared of her. She's a pipsqueak. She reminds me of Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules. Like just a lot of anger just built up for no reason. And just, you say something to them, and boom, they come back. You should be scared of me. Like, nobody's scared of you. Shut up, right? Anyway, let's see. Bay says that Gigi is a hater towards women. Pick Misha, if you will, right? Like, she's just so nasty and so weird. I don't get it, right? Exactly. This looks like a regular belly, and there's nothing wrong with having a belly. Right? We're women. This is where we store our fat. Like, what do you want? Right? Men too, they get these bellies. Nobody asked them if they're freaking pregnant. And half the time, listen, these men with their bellies, like they look like they're like maybe 18 months pregnant. Just saying. Linda says, I miss Canadian chocolate bars. Ooh, that's what I love to bring back as souvenirs for people. I always bring back coffee crisp bars. Love them. Julie says, Jamaican, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Indian food is the best. Ooh, Mexican food. I love Mexican food. I don't know Puerto Rican food though. And Indian food is pretty good too. I do like Indian food. Y'all are making me hungry. I'm so excited to eat. My reservation's for 7:30. I have to redo my nails before we go. They're getting kind of chipped. I don't know if you can tell, but they're getting kind of chipped. Basis, Kristen, that friend we all need in our corner. Exactly. Unless she's effing your man, like she was to Stassi's. East Awesome says Brittany Cartwright keeps her a muscle man. Meanwhile, I'm still single. I hate to see it. Muscle men love thick women. That's one thing. They love a thick woman. Listen, they're not doing all that lifting for nothing, right? Like they love it. You know what? Good for her. And you know what? Your knight in shining armor is coming too. East Awesome. We got some witches here in the group chat. Just say the word. Maybe my witches can pull up and help you out. Laura says I do love some good Mexican cuisine, not Taco Bell. Same here. And I do like Peruvian ceviche too. Yummy, yummy. See, Jalisa, like, I'm sorry to Italy, but I don't know who, like, they got some good PR because that stuff is just not it. In my opinion, just saying. And in Jalisa's opinion too. So if you have a problem with it, go see Jalisa. Just kidding. But he says, yes, Britt has her type and can't hate it. Well, that's what Jax had said. Jax had said that he thinks that her type, and he was hinting at it, but I think he thinks her type is black men. Apparently her type is like, black athletes or whatever. She was looking with black athletes or something. We should do a checkup on Britney Spears. How's Britney Spears? Didn't she move to Mexico or something? Right? She has no room to talk. Right? That's the thing. I do not get it. Like, why is she so mean? Like, for what reason? What does she get out of this? Like, what does she have going on in her own life? I always found her so weird and like low vibrational and just so toxic. Like, and she hasn't grown up. I gotta be honest with you guys. When she announced that she was expecting a baby, I was actually really sad for her baby. I was. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like when you see Jenelle pregnant with a baby, you go, oh God, that poor child. That's how I felt about her expecting a baby, you know? And then I was like, oh, like maybe that's like a rude thing to think. Maybe she'll grow up, she'll change. She won't be such a nasty person. No, unfortunately, she's still the same. Anyway, listen, y'all, I got some phone calls to make. I got to bounce. Thank you so much for another great episode of The Morning Report. Don't forget, I am going out to that Jamaican restaurant tonight, and I will be letting y'all know how it goes tomorrow. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I will see you again tomorrow. Sorry about that. I still have to send that email that has me perturbed. And I'll catch up with you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed today's episode of the show, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. Take care, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.